Hello, my name is John Gibbons, and I am with the product success team here at ServiceNow. And today I would like to talk about the container vulnerability response roles and personas. So we have a safe harbor notice here. We're not going to be talking about anything that's not already public, so we should be fine. Some of the topics I'd like to go through today regarding container vulnerability response personas and the roles associated to those personas would be the container vulnerability admin, the container configure integrations, the container remediation owner, the container vulnerability analyst, the CI manager, and the exception approver, and then the concept of granular roles and just a brief demo. So the first persona here is the container vulnerability admin. Like vulnerability response, this persona is going to have the ability to manage the container vulnerability response application, right? See all the records, edit all the records, um, manage the integrations, install integrations, right? And then as well as any of the triage elements, calculators, severity maps, other pieces like that. So um, the main role for that is the SNVUL container vulnerability admin. So that role contains all of these sub roles here. There's quite a bit, so I'm not going to go through all of those, but moving on to the container configure integrations persona. Now this persona has the ability to configure integrations to whatever respective scanners you may have plugins for. So the role here, right, is the SNVUL container configure integrations. So you can see here, right, it contains mainly the two roles here, and then based on whatever plugin you would have, in this case, Prisma Cloud Compute, right, you would get that role as well. The next persona here is the container remediation owner. So um, like vulnerability response, right, it's the remediation owner. So they have the ability to view and update any of the container vulnerable items that have been assigned to them or their group. And that role is the SNVUL container remediation owner. And you can see it contains these roles here. The next persona here would be the container vulnerability analyst. The vulnerability analyst, right, has the ability to manage any of the container vulnerable items, remediation tasks. Right, they have the ability to view and modify any of the container vulnerable items. And here is the roles contained by that vulnerability analyst role. Okay, next we have the CI manager. You can see that they have the ability, right, to manage any of the unmatched CI records and the discovered container images um, that are associated to container vulnerability response. Right, and you can see they have these three roles here. Exception approver persona, right, has the ability to approve exceptions, deferrals, and the closures of container vulnerable items. And they get these two roles here. And then we have granular roles. Granular roles is just the ability to assign individual roles to grant users limited access or more access than what those base roles would give you. Okay, so let's jump into the demo here. So here you can see we've got a group here. We're going to go ahead and hand them out a role here. So if we take a look at remediation owner, right, we'll assign that out to this group. So that means that these guys could go ahead and manage any of the vulnerable items that are assigned to their group, right? So if we go ahead and refresh this here, if we go take a look at this role, right, you can see it contains those roles here. But let's say we wanted to give them the ability to see all the container vulnerable items, but not do anything with them, just be able to read those. So, right, so if you come in here, So let's say we wanted to give them the ability to look at all of the vulnerable items, but just to be able to read them. So, right, we could go ahead and give them that role. And now they have the ability to manage anything that's assigned to them, right? Read and update, but they also have the ability to read everything as well. Okay. So in summary, today we talked about the personas and the roles, right, for the container vulnerability admin, the configure integrations, the remediation owner, the vulnerability analyst, the CI manager, and the exception approver. I've got a few links here for you. Obviously, we've got the doc site, and then we have one that goes directly to the container vulnerability response personas and granular roles. Okay, I appreciate your time and have a good day. Thanks.